Well, it's official. Christopher Bell is heading to the 20 car next year. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric and welcome to Out of the Groove. NASCAR silly season continues to roll right along. After last week, it was announced that Erik Jones would not be returning to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2021. There were reports that came out saying Christopher Bell was going to be the replacement, not too shocking, but it was not confirmed until today. Joe Gibbs Racing put out a statement earlier this morning confirming that driver Christopher Bell, who's currently a rookie for Levine Family Racing, will move over to the 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing in 2021. Not shocking news by any means whatsoever. Ever since last week, it was announced Levine Family Racing was closing at the end of the year. It became pretty likely Christopher Bell was heading to Joe Gibbs Racing, and of course Thursday, when Erik Jones was removed from the seat or announced that he would be gone, it was obvious at that point Christopher Bell was going to the 20 car, but now at least it's finally been confirmed. Now, unfortunately, Joe Gibbs Racing and Christopher Bell didn't really reveal any new or interesting information in today's revelation. No word on who the crew chief will be. Will it be Chris Gale, who's right now the crew chief of the 20 car with Erik Jones? Will he stick around? Will it be Jason Ratcliffe, who's worked with Christopher Bell since his days in the Xfinity Series? And will he come over from Levine Family Racing with Bell? No word on that. No word on what sponsors might be on the 20 car. We know Stanley Black & Decker, the company that sponsors the vast majority of the races for the 20 car. We know their deal is likely up at the end of this year, so they've been in the middle of negotiations. We don't know how those negotiations have gone or if they're planning to stay on in a major way. We also don't know what sponsors Bell might be bringing. I mean, I assume Rheem, who's been on his car since his Xfinity Series days, is going to come over to Joe Gibbs Racing and be on the 20 car, at least in some capacity, but we don't know that for sure. They didn't make any sponsorship announcements, which is what I was most interested in. They also didn't say how long this deal is for. Now, before this season, before 2020, it was reported that Christopher Bell signed a 3-year deal, 2 years with Levine Family Racing and 1 year with Joe Gibbs Racing, kind of overall just a Toyota deal. I don't know if this just means now year 2 has turned into a Joe Gibbs year, so now it's like Levine Gibbs, or if this is a completely new contract altogether that we don't know the length of. None of that has been revealed, so we still don't have a whole lot of answers, but at least now, most importantly, we do know who is going to drive the 20 car next year. It's going to be Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell, older than Erik Jones. A lot of people don't know that, but he's actually a couple years older than Erik Jones. Bell is an Oklahoma native. He's made his name at dirt tracks around the country. He won 3 straight Chili Bowl national titles between 2017 and 2019. He is really impressive on dirt. His battles with Kyle Larson have been well documented over the last several years especially. But now Christopher Bell is going to get his chance at a big-time NASCAR Cup Series organization. I mean, this year with Levine Family Racing, sure that they got TRD support and all that, but that's still a young team with not the best personnel. They're not the best resources. And so this year, he only has 1 top 5, 5 top 10s. He's like 20th on the playoff grid. It's been it's been a pretty year for Christopher Bell, I must say. He hasn't really impressed me that much. But going over to Joe Gibbs Racing, the main Joe Gibbs stable, Toyota at this rate, or at least TRD, it looks like, are only going to have 4 cars in the Cup Series next year. So I would think Christopher Bell is going to get a good amount of support from the manufacturer. I am really curious to see how he performs next year. And personally, and I've said this in recent weeks, I hope they blow that whole team up. I hope that Jason Ratcliffe comes over or somebody else, maybe one of their Xfinity Series crew chiefs or maybe Truck Series crew chiefs gets promoted. I'd love to see that. I don't really want to see Chris Gale stay with the 20 team. Like I've said in recent weeks, I don't think that Erik Jones's struggles this year have really all been on Jones. I think the crew chief, I think that overall team, I think the pit crew, I think everyone involved has struggled at one point or another. So I'd like to see wholesale changes around that 20 car. I don't want it to be, the same car Jones is driving this year, but with Bell behind the wheel. I just don't think the results are going to be any better. I want to see a different crew chief. I want to see a different pit crew if it's possible, something like that. But time will tell. We'll see how that goes. Now, of course, we still do not know where Erik Jones is going to end up. Erik Jones has been in the 20 car the last 3 seasons. He's got 2 wins in that car. This year, though, he's kind of on that edge right now, 17th on the playoff grid, 1 spot out of being a playoff qualifier. It's been a disappointing year for Erik Jones. They had mechanical issues at the end of yesterday's Michigan race, which hurt their performance there and kind of cost them possibly a chance of pointing their way back into the top 16. So it's just been a struggle for Erik Jones and that entire race team this season. But over the weekend, Erik Jones, as well as his rep, Alan Miller, both spoke about his possible future. Erik Jones told NBC Sports Sunday morning that he was kind of blindsided by the announcement last week that he would not be in the 20 car anymore.
I found out really the same day as everybody. I guess it was on Thursday morning. I was told, and Thursday night we kind of announced everything. But I was blindsided a little bit. I didn't really expect it coming from our talks. I thought we were moving in a good direction, but at the end of the day, I've had a great really 8 years almost with Joe Gibbs Racing between Xfinity and Cup, and I'm thankful for that time. And it's good to see the support that's been out there the last few days on social media.
And we've talked about on the show how a month ago, Alan Miller, who represents him, said that he thought talks about extending with Joe Gibbs Racing were going really well. Sponsorship talks were going really well. A few weeks ago, I think Erik Jones's team was extremely confident and optimistic that he would be with Joe Gibbs Racing for 2021 and maybe longer. And I'll be honest, up until about a week ago, I bet they were still really confident. I think what really threw a wrench in this whole situation was Levine Family Racing choosing to shut down at the end of the year. When that announcement came down last week, that completely changed the entire picture of Toyota in the NASCAR Cup Series. Because now Joe Gibbs and TRD did not have that fifth car to put, their young talented drivers in. They had to make a choice. They had to pick Bell or Jones. And given Jones's recent struggles and the super high upside they see in Christopher Bell. But now the question is, where will Erik Jones end up? He's a Southern 500 winner. He's qualified for the playoffs the last 2 seasons. He should be in the NASCAR Cup Series in a competitive ride next year. Earlier this week, per Adam Stern, Adam Miller said, "I'm very confident Jones is going to find a good ride." He also adds, "We could have something done today or next Wednesday or a week from then." And also, as you can see from Adam Stern, he mentions that Alan Miller also represents Jimmy Johnson. And why that could be important is because Jimmy Johnson's 48 car, which he is supposedly leaving at the end of this year, is highly rumored as the likely landing place for Erik Jones at this point. If Hendrick Motorsports does not downsize, which I tend to believe Rick Hendrick's going to do everything he can to keep all 4 cars up and running next year, it sounds like Erik Jones is the #1 option for that team. I'm sure that's one of the first conversations that Alan Miller and Erik Jones are going to have here in the next few days if they haven't had it already. Things happen fast. Remember last week when Brad Keselowski announced his extension, I told you guys that was going to be the first pin to drop and that NASCAR silly season was going to heat up tremendously over the coming weeks. And here we are a week into it and we've had several big name drivers move and change rides for next year. It's only going to get crazier. That's really all I have to talk about in this video. I actually had another video I was about to upload when this news broke, all about Bubba Wallace and his future plans, but I'll push that to tomorrow. Hopefully Bubba Wallace doesn't make a big announcement tonight and then I have to throw that whole video away. But I'm just going to leave it at that. I really hope Erik Jones lands somewhere good next year. I do think the 48 is probably the most likely option. Of course, there's a chance he could end up at Chip Ganassi, but it sounds like they might have their eyes set on someone named Bubba Wallace. But teams like Stewart-Haas Racing, Richard Petty Motorsports, perhaps even the Wood brothers could end up being possibilities for Erik Jones. So there are options out there, but I think Hendrick Motorsports 48 is the most likely one. But that's all I've got for this episode. Big breaking news here on a Monday. Thank you all for watching this episode. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram as well. And thank you a ton to our amazing Patreon supporters. Could not do this show without your tremendous support each and every week, so thank you for supporting the show on Patreon. Like I said, I have another big video planned for tomorrow, fingers crossed hopefully, but that's all I've got for this one. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your Monday. I will see you all very, very soon.